Rachel Reeves has achieved something rare in modern British politics. She's made anticipation boring, not because the stakes are low, but because she insists on telling us every 48 hours that something terrible but necessary is coming. It's like being trapped in a 3-week advent calendar in which every window contains another hint about tax rises and a photograph of the pound sliding. So let's set the scene for this. It's the morning after her highly unusual pre-budget address from Number 10. She tells us it's about context. She tells us there's no magic money tree. She tells us we must all contribute. She tells us the Tories wrecked the public finances. She tells us global tariffs, stubborn inflation, and a productivity downgrade from the OBR have all conspired to make her job harder. Poor her. What she does not tell us is the thing everyone is actually listening for: which tax, how much, and when. And because she will not say the one thing that matters, she has to keep talking, and she never seems to stop. This isn't clarity, this is desperation. Let's walk through it as if we were explaining it to a room of sixth formers and hardened lobby journalists at once. There's five main points, I think. First, the problem of over-announcing. The Chancellor is supposed to hoard surprise. Budgets work best when they land in a single coherent package. Reeves is doing the opposite. This morning it was about fiscal honesty. Yesterday it was the debt interest point. Tomorrow it will be welfare reform. Next week it will be capital gains and council tax bans for the comfortably off in Dulwich. By the 26th of November, there's a real risk that when she stands at the dispatch box, she'll be reading out a greatest hits album that we've already streamed to death. Why is that a problem? Because markets, unions, backbenchers and her opponents are already pricing it in. The FTSE 100 fell as she spoke. The pound weakened. Analysts were repeating her lines about headroom before she'd even left the podium. If you trail every option, you turn a budget from an event into a drip feed of anxiety. Second point, the confession tour. Her language is confessional. We will all have to contribute. I will do what is right, not what is popular. There are no easy answers. That's a classic pitch rolling, but it's also politically hazardous because she fought an election on the opposite register. Labour promised not to raise the main taxes on working people. She repeated it over and over. And then there was all the question about what is a working person. Now she is telling us that the world has changed between last year and the 26th of November. Has it? Yes, in the sense that borrowing costs have risen and her headroom got wiped out. No, in the sense that none of this was unimaginable. Inflation staying higher for longer was foreseeable. A welfare U-turn was self-inflicted. The permanent costs of an ageing population were known, which is why Mel Stride can sound so confident, saying if she breaks her tax pledge, she should go. He's making the obvious point. If you say 7 times that you will not raise a tax and then you raise it, you have traded your authority for 2 pence. The background noise, third point, the background noise of sleaze and housing. All of this plays out while she is still fielding questions about her own unlicensed rental. The irony is excruciating. The Chancellor, who wants to tell the country there's no magic money tree, failed to pay a 4-figure licence fee on her Dulwich house and now faces the possibility of tenants reclaiming thousands. If your central economic message is everyone must play by the rules because every pound counts, then you must be the first to play by the rules. That is Politics 101. It also gives her enemies their line. Kemi Badenoch can walk to a lectern at 10 a.m. this morning and say, I am going to talk about welfare, work and responsibility. And by the way, the Chancellor who wants you to contribute forgot to contribute herself. That writes itself. Fourth point, the markets and the vigilantes. Reeves is right on one technical point. Gilts did move. Yields did fall when she talked tough on debt. That tells you what she is really doing. She is not only governing the country, she is governing the bond market. And her message to investors was, I'm willing to break my manifesto to satisfy you, which is a brutal but honest choice. The trouble is that voters heard it too, and voters do not like it when the Chancellor looks more frightened of Black Rock than of an election in the Midlands. Fifth point, the widening target. By talking this often, she widens the number of people who can attack her. In the space of one morning, you had Kemi Badenoch preparing to hit her in a few minutes from the right on welfare and on tax as a drag on growth. Mel Stride demanding that she resign if she raises tax again. The TUC saying fine, but start with capital gains and gambling firms and banks, not workers. Reform figures sneering that there's no one in Britain less suitable to be Chancellor. Lib Dems coining it pointless pitch rolling. 5 separate critiques, all available because she keeps opening the door. This is all about the rhetoric of necessity, her central line that she will not always do what is popular. Well, so what? She will not always do what is right. She sounds Churchillian. She's actually quite brittle. It works if people believe you are being dragged by events. It fails if people think you created half the events yourself. Remember, she raised taxes last year and claimed that she had fixed the foundations. If you fix the foundations in 2024 and then in 2025 you tell everyone the house is falling down, people start to suspect the architect. They don't suspect somebody from the year before. The madness is this constantly putting up little balloons to try to find the air pressure. This is the heart of the question. Every day a new idea is floated. Income tax bans, council tax reevaluation at the top, tightening reliefs, wealth adjacent measures, council funding changes, welfare changes, debt interest rules. If you float 100 possibilities, the public does not hear nuance. It hears panic. It hears the government will tax everything that moves, even if the final budget only contains 6 of the 100. The political pain has already been banked. And that's why this is madness. You are supposed to narrow choices as you get closer to budget day. She is expanding them. And now put that beside Kemi Badenoch at 10 a.m. She can be brisk, partisan and single message. Actually, it makes it easy for Kemi Badenoch. I mean, she'll still get it wrong, but it makes it easy. Welfare is too big, work must pay. The Chancellor is coming after your pay packet because she cannot control her spending. That's clear. Reeves was long, caveated, managerial. If the economy is nervous, the public wants clarity, not a seminar. The narrative she should have used... She could have done this in 3 sentences. There's a structural hole. I will raise some taxes on those with broader shoulders. I will protect day-to-day public services. Then keep quiet until the 26th of November. In fact, she didn't even need to say that. Instead, she's shown the whole working out on the board, invited every MP, journalists and lobbyists to mark her homework. And so... Imagine it as a little Whitehall farce, probably without the trouser dropping. Every morning a senior Treasury official tiptoes into number 11. Chancellor, the OBR has found another productivity downgrade. Then we must all contribute. Chancellor, the pound has dripped. Then we must all contribute. Chancellor, the lettings agent has written back about the Dulwich house. Then we must all contribute. Chancellor, the Resolution Foundation wants 25 billion and to scrap the 2-child cap. Then we must all contribute. By the time you get to budget day, the only person who will have nothing left to contribute is Rachel Reeves, because she's already spent her argument. So, firstly, the oddity, the Chancellor pre-announcing the pain so often that the pain loses its force. Second, the political contradiction, a party elected on lower tax for working people now is prepared to redefine who counts as a working person and to charge the rest. Third, a government that cannot go 24 hours without floating yet another fiscal try as though it's something that's dropped into the loo. Floating, this balloon looks needy, not strong. She's not out of money yet, she's out of mystery, and that's almost as bad.